Hello, welcome to the Paint With Me series. Today I'm going to paint an Unmade. This one is the Joyous One. It has been primed with Wraithbone spray. And new place, well, same place, but new setting a bit. This is my nighttime painting area because the other places has great natural light, but when it's in nighttime, this is the place to paint. Hopefully the lighting is okay. Might need to start wearing contacts for nighttime ones, as it's alright if I look a little bit creepy since I'm doing the Unmade, the creepiest of the bunch, for sure. So, let's see. For him, he has got hide all over him. And I think their weapons are going to be like old weapons, but horrifyingly sharp. I think we'll have some bronze in there. I guess we'll do that face, some reddish hide. It's just so creepy. I guess first off is what is the color of their skin? I think I'll just go with slightly tan skin. Probably the same as the Untamed Beasts. Here it is, Fire Slayer Flesh. These are contrast paints. For anyone who's new to painting with me, hi! This is a contrast paint in a Vallejo mixing bottle because I find them so much easier to prevent myself from spilling them everywhere if they're in these handy little capped bottles. Alright, so the first things first, let's paint up this skin and we go from there. Her skin. We paint up her skin. The other people's skin we'll paint up after. I'm thinking reds and browns and like all the other people's skins I've painted, I'm going to put on her with probably a wash, something like that. So we're going to have some Iron Golem skin on there, some Splinter Fang skin on there, some Cypher Lord skin on there. Yeah, I'm just using a small base brush by Citadel. Alright, I do have one of those. Look, I actually remembered to put it on. Yeah, I think this tan skin seems to suit. She's regularly out on the prowl, searching for new victims under the hot sun. Probably enjoys burning a little bit too. I was inspired by their names. Blissful One, Joyous One, Ascended One. So this one is Daisy. This one is Sunflower. I haven't gotten to the naming the other ones yet. But you can probably guess what they're going to be. That's right, I'm naming them all after flowers. Because that's just horrifying. Alright. Gotten all the skin there. Alright, next coloring. Yeah, it's going to be the different hides. How to make it look horrifying and good at the same time. There's little stitchings all through. Must bring them out too. I guess I'll do maybe a Sigor brown on the stitchings. Okay, let's just go with the Space Wolves Grey first. Space Wolves Grey is the Iron Golem skin. So we want to add it in there, but I guess I don't want it to be not a big block. So down at the bottom. And I might cover all of this in Recklin Flesh Shade to give it, a tone of dried, bloodied skin. We shall see after it comes out. Let's go Guilliman Flesh. That one can be a larger piece. Yeah, this piece. And I grabbed out the Magos Purple for anything that didn't look, fleshy enough. I think I'm going to, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm dotting, while it's still wet, I'm dotting around the Guilliman Flesh, just around where it meets the other skins, to give it, in that area, a bit of a red tone. I'll just show you what those two thus far look like. It probably won't look like much yet because it's so wet, but it will. Now I might try and leak into your other ones, so you will have to pay attention, because these, I mean, you could wait until all of them, each one dries, and then there'd be no leaking, but a little bit of leaking I don't mind. I'm touching up a bit more of the Space Wolves Grey on my one, because I want it a bit darker in some places. A little bit of spottiness that comes with skin drying, I think. Alright, I've got Fire Slayer Flesh still there, so I'll add a little bit of Wildwood. Make my Splintered Fang skin, which was half Fire Slayer Flesh and half Wildwood. These are rather large panels, so I'm still just using my base brush. I think I want something a little bit more reddy on the top, so let's go Guilliman Flesh, Fire Slayer Orange, and my handy dandy contrast medium, Magos Purple, all evenly mixed. Why this color combination? Because it seems fleshy to me. I think as it's drying, I'm going to keep adding like the Guilliman Flesh, that I put on the previous one. It's starting to dry now, but it's drying a bit lighter than I want. So I'm just dotting here and there, just around the edges, just dotting it with a fresh amount, but only here and there, and it's just to give it a drying skin effect. Just entirely creepy. Not too much on the brush, dotting it here and there to give it some discoloration. For another patch, I'm doing an even mix of the Magos Purple with the Space Wolves Grey, just to bring another color into the patchwork. And I'm gonna do Sigor Brown, Fire Slayer Flesh, and 2 bunches of the purple. Really mixing and matching as I'm going, making it look more fleshy to my eyes. I'm just taking the wildwood plain as it is now, with a little bit on my brush, and giving a couple dots on the patch that was part wildwood, part fire slayer flesh, you know, as it's partly dried, so it still mixes with the original thing. Just keep dotting until I get it the color scheme I want it to be. In fact, I'm going into one of the ones that was really light, the Gilliman flesh. I actually went in with some wildwood in the shadows of the Gilliman flesh piece. I think those hands, I really want it shown off that they're hands, so I'm going to use Blood Angel's Red so that your eye is attracted right to them and you get to freak out. I think I'll use Gilliman flesh down the arms, and then when you get to the hands, wipe out, use only the Blood Angel's Red, and then pull that red up into the Gilliman flesh. Sorry, it's gonna look rather messy right now because it's all wet. I don't know whether you'll be able to see where I'm going with it that well, but imagine it'll be awesome. Go. Alright, I'm going to let that dry. Moving on to some of the other parts, and we'll see what it looks like when it's dry and see if it might need some more layers. Now, they say not to put multiple layers on a contrast paint, but I'm going to do that anyway. Not full layers, just spotting, because I think that would really make the fleshy look that I'm going for. Alright, our shoes done, our sandals done in wildwood. And you can see it's drying a bit more now. Time to do the weapon metal color. Okay, magnesium. I'm going to take out my standard brush from Citadel. It's out of print now, but that size. Now these metals are more liquid than your regular Citadel paint, so you don't need a lot on your brush for it to go a long way. If you have too much on your brush, it'll go more than you wanted it to go. Let's see, questions that we've had a lot on the channel, that I could possibly answer here. I guess the biggest one is, are we going to go into 40k in Kill Team? Yes. Oh, there was one question that I can answer for myself anyway. But I started into wargaming when I started playing Dungeons and Dragons. Really, I've never been one to turn down a game to play. Tabletop games are just my thing. And painting. I started painting store enemies, and then when I got into the game myself, well, it was easy to start painting your own because there's so many cool models, and then you just want to see what they are painted. You want to try out your new paint that you just got in. With a new flogging that you just got in. You want to see how the terrain looks on the battlefield. Oh, there's so many great things. Someone suggested that she could be just a paid actor. No, actually that's Melody. That's 100% pure melody. For any of our locals watching, they can attest to that. I'm trying to decide whether to do her helmet metal a different color than her weapon metal. I think so. I think I'm gonna go with a bronze. Metal that she's standing on looks like it should be pretty dark, so I'll just do that. This pose is so dynamic. It is awesome. I have to look at her stats again and see if she's good at jumping or something. Alright, here she is with the base of magnesium on her. I actually think I'm going to see what it's like to put skeleton horde on that mask, to make it like a bone mask. The two little metal pieces by her ears, I'm just gonna do magnesium as well. I think I'll do bronze with Acrex Earthshade over it. So this one is Game Air by Vallejo, bright bronze. I'm also doing the decorations on her shoulder pads, the top part with the spikes. All that's going the bright bronze, and the metal of her belt is going to bright bronze, but it looks like there's a skin over top, so I'm gonna have to get that too. Here she is with the bright bronze. Now I'm intending it to be a much darker bronze than that, but that's what it looks like right now. Also on her belt buckle. I'm going to mix the Blood Angel's red with Fireslayer flesh, even mix, and put that on her shoulder pads, and I think the leather of her outfit, and also putting it on the skin flayed out on her belt. That she is. Alright, time to do the dry brushing on that metal. I'll be dry brushing it duraluminum, metal Vallejo color duraluminum, using my Citadel's small dry brush for this, and putting the tiniest amount on my brush and then taking it off again. And let's go at the weapons first. Just moving the brush in one direction, which is, in this case, I guess, toward her shoes. And then, moving on to the next one, I'm keeping my finger, which is getting covered in duraluminum, but I'm keeping my finger behind everything that I am trying to dry brush, because they're such tiny little bits I don't want them to accidentally be dry brushed right off of the model, so I'm just keeping my finger right behind them to brace them for the impact. These chains, I'm just moving down the length of the chain with the dry brushing this time. The chain that is coming down her mask, just going to pull it gently downward, and yeah, I might as well dry brush the little thing at the base too. Just one direction, downward in this case. The chain's holding her dress together, just very gently going back and forth sideways, horizontally across them, because I don't want to get anything else but them. Okay, so there's some dry brushing with duraluminum. I'm covering that over with Nuln Oil Gloss. Small base brush for that. And a Reclin Flesh Shade over that bronze. After I'm done the Reclin Flesh Shade, I'll show it to you, though can't say it will look that good with it being soaking wet, but I'll show it to you anyway. I do want this Reclin Flesh Shade to be fairly heavy over this. In this case, I do actually want it to pool a little bit. And yeah, I'm also going to do it over the skull. This is what it looks like so far when it's all wet. I'm going to do Shyish Purple on the stitching. No way to speed that up. I'm going to do it stitch by stitch. And that's okay because I want the other pieces to dry anyway. I'll probably dry at the same time. Stitch by stitch. Hello again. Well, everything is dry and ready to go for the next layer, which will be really, I think, just highlighting and maybe add a little bit of gore. So this is what it looks like when it's all dry and waiting for some highlights. I'll make certain to add good pictures of it at the end of the video so you can have a look in detail at what it looks like. So I'm going to just use some edge highlighting with this light Steele mecha color from Vallejo. So I'm just using the side of my brush to brush it gently over one side of the blade and just a couple edges that are facing upward on the blade, just for some lighting effects. Just the little tips of all the different spikes on the blade, just the edges that are facing upward and on the tips of all the little spikes. And on the chains, just on the pieces of the chain that are pointing upward. I'm not going to touch, well, maybe on those very spikes. On the spikes of his base, I'll just add a little here and there. For the chains coming off, the chainmail really coming off her, I don't want that much on the brush. So, just going to scrape the brush very gently, sideways. Not directly at the chains, but sideways, like have my brush oriented 90 degrees from the chain. But yeah, so just brushing the ones that are towards the front and leaving the ones that are towards the back for a bit of contrast. So that's that. I don't know how well it shows the difference between the two stages in the video, but here it is. I think it's time to add a bit of gore. So blood for the blood god. Don't want to add too much gore, but I'm going to get, her eyes are going to be bleeding blood, because that seems pretty gory to me. And the tips of her blades are going to be covered in blood, like she has just stabbed someone with them. I'm gonna add that blood to the bloody hands that I have. Here's the blood. Thanks for painting with me, and do let me know what you were painting as I was painting this one. I'll base her and then I'll take a few pictures of her and you'll be able to see that now. If you liked the video, please give us a like, and if you'd like to see more paint with me, I will be trying to get these done on a weekly basis. And if you'd like to see other Warcry and Warhammer and Wargaming materials, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you in the next one.